let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold, please, because I love talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. It makes me happy, Andy. I thought first half we saw Trent the defender playing pretty well with a couple of outrageous passes, and then second half we saw what happens if Trent Alexander-Arnold's given space, and it was interesting. He was finding his own spaces. In the first half, we didn't see much of him drifting inside. Second half, he was either really wide or he was getting in those channels. He did drift inside to play midfield sometimes. Again, part of it might be Ipswich tiring, but also Liverpool, it's not rocket science. Get Trent the ball in space and good things will happen, and it happened again.
You need to create space for Trent to pass the ball into. You need movement, and it can't just be sort of static. Trent's going to bail us out with an inch perfect pass every time. And I thought one of the things that happened second half was obviously Ipswich were going man for man. I think Szoboszlai dropped a bit deeper, which meant the centre half Greaves, who had a really good game actually, really impressed with him, and they signed him from Hull recently. I think he could be one of the best in the league this season. He has to then come and go tight to Szoboszlai, which meant there was more space in behind, especially because Leif Davis wanted to really push up in a similar way to Trent. You know, that's where the first goal comes about. It's a lovely pass from Trent, but there's acres of space for Salah. But at the same time, Trent has to play the ball, and it's a perfect pass, and Salah doesn't have to break stride. He doesn't have to take a touch, and that's how you create those really, really high value chances, which obviously eventually one of them's going to go in. Jota has one just before, which is a high value chance, but he gets one again there, and you know, we get another one just minutes later. There's one a few minutes before with Diaz. For what was a poor first half performance, or not a great first half performance, for those 10 minutes between 60 and 70, it's as good a Liverpool as you're going to see, I think.
I suppose, John, as well, like we keep doing it because it's our only reference point. You think back towards the end of last season, how last season fell off a little bit. I don't think enough is made of Trent being injured and out and back again, yeah. And then he probably wasn't right, and he got rushed back, bless, because Conor Bradley's father passed away, and I think Trent wouldn't have played that Arsenal game, and he comes back and he gets injured. It does feel like, oh yeah, it was a nice reminder to see this fella is still something. He looks even bigger. He's clearly been, he's been in the gym again. That one when he sprints back, I've never seen Trent with that much recovery pace. Maybe he's been working on that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're getting a new and improved Trent Alexander-Arnold, point to prove, contract to win, just more physically developed, that's going to be a massive asset to Liverpool.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought before he got injured last season, he was starting to be the guy that made Liverpool tick.
Yeah.
And obviously he got the injury. He learned, and you could see it against Ipswich, that I think maybe working with Thiago helped. He seems to know where people are on the pitch, so that if he has to pass the ball quickly, it's always in the right direction. You know, he can still pass the ball pretty accurately, even under pressure. But if you give him all the time and space that they started to give him in that second half, well, you're going to get beat, aren't you? Because his contribution to our attacking play in that second half was just unbelievable.
He would have had one. The cross, Andy, for the Jota header it's so good. Like it's so good that I was like, it's quite blasé because it's just Trent. It's amazing. Really, he just sends the fella, see you later, bang, puts it on Jota's head. There should be a goal. It's a bad miss from Jota. Jota should score that. That's the kind of quality that you've got. That is. With all that, you talk about XGs and stuff. I bet the XG was quite high. I know headers aren't counted as much, but you've found Diogo Jota in the middle of two giant defenders on his own, just pinpoint accuracy. That's how good he can be, and yet they didn't really learn the lesson because they give him space again, and about 2 minutes later, and there you go.
Perfect example of him not being clattered like he would have been in the first half.
You give him time and space. He's deadly if you give him time and space. Liverpool need to, whatever the game plan is, some things will change on the slot, some will stay the same. And finding Trent Alexander-Arnold time on the ball is going to be something Liverpool continue to want to be able to do.
And this is a tricky thing because Trent is technically our best player and one of, if not our best player, just in general. So the idea is you want to get him central and you want to get him closer to the goal and you want to get him affecting the play more. And that's where the first goal comes from, because he slides that perfectly through to Salah from a more central position. But on the other side of things, out wide, when he gets a bit of space, as he does, and it's not particularly well worked from Liverpool, the ball just sort of falls. I think it's maybe a corner before it. And there's a little bit of space, and he's more or less right out the touchline, where we talk about high-value chances, high-value crosses, generally are slightly closer in, but it's a pinpoint ball. It's just whipped perfectly onto his head. And, credit to Jota, not for that in that particular instance, but, Jota regularly wins those headers.
Yeah.
And sorry, it's not winning the header because you're not out jumping anyone, but he finds that little bit of space in between the two.
He scores much harder headers than that normally, doesn't he? How the hell he missed it, I just don't know.
But again, I think, considering, for example, Nunez is probably, 6 or 7 inches taller than him, I see Jota winning those balls into the box. And as I say, it's not actually about size and strength and jump. It's about finding that position at the right time, which Jota's brilliant at, and doesn't get that one, but a few minutes later does.
The pass from Trent in the build to the goal, it couldn't be better, John. He couldn't have picked it up and just put it down with his hands anywhere better for Mo Salah. It was in stride. Salah didn't have to break a step, and all of a sudden their defender is one-on-one with Mo Salah running at him, and he doesn't know what to do. And it all comes, listen, the build-up's great. It comes from Alisson to Gravenberch, but that inside pass to Trent is unbelievable.
The pass was absolutely brilliant. It was like a golf putt.
Yeah.
Just perfect path for Salah to run onto. Excuse me. And people like Mo Salah, they must salivate at the thought of someone like Trent behind them, giving them balls like that, And of course, the new Salah immediately passes the ball to Jota, whereas the old Salah would have had a shot, wouldn't he? And he's now learned, added to his game, that there are better ways to punish the opposition than always having a shot. And the pass was perfectly weighted, and what I loved was Jota let it run across his body to put it in with his left foot. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, it's a great goal, and to round up on Trent as well, and John was right. There was times last season, it was around that Fulham game, wasn't it, when he goes in the field and scores that goal. There was a time there where I thought he was on for best player in the league, all the awards, he was going to be in that conversation. Liverpool looked like they were going to be challenging for titles. They did win a trophy, of course. They went pretty far towards the other ones as well. It felt like Alexander-Arnold had got to that point where he is what he is, but he was being widely recognised as Liverpool's one of the main man, one of the best players in the league. If Trent Alexander-Arnold can get anywhere close to he did, I'd say at least, especially second half against Ipswich, he's on for another giant season. He might be earning himself a bit more money on that contract that he's after, because I don't know how you stop that. It's almost unplayable, because your time man mark, he'll just walk away from you. Okay, well, he doesn't want to be in midfield, I'll just go and play right back. Give me time on the ball, I'll play it through. Come at me, and like that cross, I'll just go round you and early ball in. He's almost unplayable at times, unless you're making him run back towards his own goal all the time. I don't know how you stop him. Hopefully that's the start of what's going to come, because if it is, Liverpool are going to have a very good season if he plays as well as he did there.
I think he's 7 million on fantasy football for anyone who plays. Now, when you consider how many clean sheets I think we're going to keep this year, because we look more solid defensively, plus how involved in goal involvements, that is going to go down as one of the fantasy football bargains of the century. No, he's magnificent. He's magic on the ball, and we all know that. And it's not a question of his quality; it's a question of how we can get the best out of him with other players around him. Is that more traditional right back like he played when he first came into it? Is it getting him into more of the centre of the park, where yes, he can influence it more, but it's also a little bit more congested? It's probably a bit of both. It's probably a bit of variation. And you see in the space of 5 minutes yesterday, like I said, he gets one assist. Well, it's not even an assist, but he plays the main pass for the goal from a central position. Then a couple of minutes before that, plays a lovely ball in from the right. Trent can impact the game from anywhere on the pitch. We need the players in front of him, the movement. As I say, Szoboszlai making that slight tweak where he was a lot more involved, drag the centre half out, a bit more space. If we can create those spaces for them, Trent will find them, and those attackers can salivate with the number of goals they're going to get off the back of him.
The amazing thing is that he's a right back. He plays as a right back. I mean, to influence the whole team as a right back is just phenomenal.
Let's hope Real Madrid weren't watching. Let's hope Liverpool get the contract signed now, get it in front of him, put whatever number he wants on it and get it signed now, because that is the most important thing in Richard Hughes' inbox this year, is getting Trent Alexander-Arnold signed down, because any more performances like that, I mean, the whole of Europe will want him anyway, but they'll want him even more.